Welcome back, ladies, men, and monsters. My name is Cowboy, and I am joined by Mac Dewey. I think he's on this side of me. I already forgot. I'm gonna be honest. Am I pointing the right? Well, we'll see. I'll look like an idiot if I'm not. But so we are going to be heading into draft of our first game, which is going to be Omega Gaming Unleashed versus Divine. I almost said it again. Divine Ascension Ruby. What is up with me and Define, man? I don't get it.
Yeah, getting into this draft here, Cowboy, we've got Omega Gaming Unleashed on the blue side, Divine Ascension Ruby on the red side. And both of these teams are, I think, trying to prove themselves and everyone wrong about kind of where they're at. Omega Gaming Unleashed starting off this season 1-3. Time to silence the doubters, after a rough start. I'm hoping Omega Gaming bounces back here with a little bit of an easier schedule. And Divine Ascension Ruby, they actually had a killer first week, and that was without this recent roster switch up from them, Cowboy. Tay, really solid job. We talked about it during the pre-show on that Zoe. Now we have Jay stepping into the mid lane. What he's talked to me about, he's absolutely excited to fill in for his actual role, no longer just sitting in the jungle. He's going to be looking, I think, to make big plays happen. I'm excited to what he brings out in the mid lane. So I think we've got an exciting series overall heading into to start the night and to start week 2.
So looking at these bans, I'm already a huge fan. We have the Hecarim absolutely crushing solo queue right now, and his team fight potential is absolutely bonkers. We have the Funky Viking out, so Gunjin is probably, he's like crying tears of joy right now. So yay, it's not gonna be a complete jungle div. Seraphine, how do you feel about that? I know Seraphine is really good in the support or mid lane right now as a counter pick. What are we feeling?
Seraphine, Cowboy, is just such a flexible option, really, for any team that's able to draft her. She can either go in the mid lane or the support role, as you mentioned. And not only that, she can also serve as your bot lane carry, maybe a little Lucian mid lane in the action for a little bit more attack damage for the overall comp. But she has seen role play in that bot lane. So really excited to see her taken off of the board. And something interesting, Omega Gaming Unleashed taking Shaco off of the board. That's not a jungle ban. That is, in fact, a support ban targeting McGumfreys. He's a big Shaco support player. Don't sleep on it. Omega Gaming certainly weren't. They didn't decide to ban away the Maokai, which did receive a little bit of nerfs this most recent patch, so I'm not surprised to see them a little bit more scared of this sneaky Shaco support. Silly Goose, this Jinx locked in. This is one of his biggest comfort picks. Divine Ascension Ruby, they're looking to improve their 3-1 record. They finished the last season of Mid-League in 3rd place, and after a disappointing playoffs run, and after talking about them getting ready for this new season for Mid-League to start up, Cowboy, the one word that comes to mind for me is redemption. They want to try to turn things around, and this Blitzcrank pick locked in, I think, will really help McGumfreys, a big playmaking support, really get out on the map.
So the first pick, Senna, I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, I was really expecting something like a Jhin be picked up just immediately, because they banned the Kai'Sa. Your blue side first pick, just take the Jhin and you just win bot lane. It's really difficult to counter pick such a powerful champion like that. But I'm not the player. Maybe they're a lot more comfortable on Senna, and that is going to be a Senna 80 carry with a Nautilus. Really like this lane. The lockdown potential is going to be crazy. So I'm expecting to see some kind of jungler that doesn't have just as much gank or gank setup, you could say. I'd say Talia, but her gank setup is pretty okay right now.
Omega Gaming, I think, actually picked the Talia jungle twice last week and might have lost both of those games. We're going to see the Echo get picked up here. Very interesting. Could go really almost anywhere on the top side. Cowboy, Omega Gaming Unleashed, going to give themselves a little bit of flexibility going into the second phase of bans. We're going to be waiting here to see what Divine Ascension decide to finish off the first phase with. So far, Omega Gaming Unleashed, going into this game, I really honestly wanted to see some sort of dive composition get picked for themselves. What's looking really strong right now, and what they actually found success with last week, was the Galio pick, and it really helps their mid laner Princeton get out onto the map, make big plays, and help everyone else out. Omega Gaming, they're a slow-paced team, and they're really team-oriented. Not a lot of, I think, solo action, and really not a lot of snowballing unless they're winning. I want to see them really try to push themselves and try to get comfortable being in the driver's seat. I think that's how they were able to find success and actually pick up a win against AoE God Squad last weekend. It's what I want to see from the second half of this draft. The support Nautilus pick, I think, is a good way to start off that kind of idea, as we're going to see the Lucian and the Yone taken off of the board, while that Silas and Camille is going to stay away from Gerald's hands.
They're completely expecting this Echo to go to the jungle, which I don't blame them. But a flex pick is a flex pick, and the possibility of this Echo going to the middle lane to counterpick whatever they're going to play, or even just throw around, is kind of scary, actually. Taking away that Camille and Silas. Camille, extremely strong pick in the top lane right now. I do not blame them. What?
The Zillion! Is Bjergsen?
That's a Zillion mid!
Are we playing... Are we casting Bjergsen tonight, Cowboy, or something?
TSM? What's happening? Yo, what's going on?
That's a really spicy one for the mid lane. I actually like it. I feel like it's gonna give Divine Ascension Ruby a lot of playmaking potential, especially with that Zillion ultimate. Jay in the mid lane, this is his debut. These are the spicy sort of alternative options that he's supposed to bring and really help Divine Ascension ascend to a better playoff performance. Looking forward, he's going to be really, I think he might be my player to watch going into this one. The Fiddlestick support is a new jungler. Tay moved off of the roster, at least for now. It's Yoko Kurama in the jungle for Divine Ascension Ruby. On this Fiddlestick pick, a lot of playmaking potential overall. You've got bombs, you can actually throw that onto the Fiddlesticks once he crow storms in, so I kind of like this semi-wombo combo setup from Divine Ascension Ruby, and we see Omega Gaming Unleashed going to be trying to give their solo laners a lot of power, which I really like to see. The Gangplank was absolutely incredible for Simulacrum last week. I didn't want to see any more of this mouth fight. Omega Gaming, you've got solid laners. Put them on champions they can make plays with.
We are going to be seeing this last pick on the Jax. I don't know the Jax and the Gangplank matchup very well. I'm a jungle main. All I know is jungle. So, do you want to tell me a little bit about that, Mac?
Well, going into the top lane, whenever you see a Gangplank, you can pretty much have a safe bet that he's going to be able to get through the early stages of the game just fine. I think I honestly really like it, especially going into the Fiddlesticks. It's going to be really tough to gank Simulacrum. He's either going to be able to remove that scurvy off of the Fiddlestick Sphere, or even just the Jax Counter-Strike. And before that gank happens, Cowboy, thinking about the setup, thinking about how the early lane phase is going to go for both of these champions, the Gangplank most likely going Grasp of the Undying. Even if he's not, the early poke from that parlay Q just gets on everyone's nerves. It's going to be really tough to deal with. But if we get to the late stages of the game, when that Trinity Forest, Blade of the Rune King, Stair Axe Gauge, classic Jax items get online, he's going to be able to pretty much 1v1 anyone on the map if the game looks even. Mega Gaming Unleashed, a slower paced team overall, but when they were able to win, they were able to win in under 30 minutes. Does this team composition do that for them? I think if they're able to just kind of lane check Divine Ascension Ruby's laners, they might be able to pull it off. But in terms of early game aggression, I think I would have liked to see something a little different from Omega Gaming Unleashed. This Echo in the jungle, I think all eyes are going to have to be on him to see if he's able to get these important solo laners ahead.
Mm-hmm. I think that Echo is an incredibly strong jungle pick, and into somebody who just wants to power farm like Fiddlesticks, it's going to be really nice, because he can just walk in there, one-shot the Fiddlesticks, and then just press the funny R button and suddenly be back in his own Nexus, and then, get 17 items, and boo. Echo is an incredibly strong champion, and that's not surprising. He's an AP assassin, who basically has a get out of jail free card, which nobody likes. Let's be real. And Fiddlesticks is a champion where if he wants to go hard, he has to go hard. He has to be all in 100% of the time. That Zhonya's has to be available whenever he wants to go in, although having the Zillion will really complement that.
Yeah.
Having the Jax for some early game lenience, or mid game, I shouldn't say early game, and then having that Jinx Blitzcrank being able to just get picks like crazy is going to be really nice for the side of Divine Ascension Ruby.
Yeah, and they're going to have to play around this bottom side of the map. Jax, Zillion, not really going to be solid lanes to try to gank, especially for that Fiddlesticks. I think what Divine Ascension Ruby is going to have to do to come out on top of this game and make sure that Omega Gaming Unleashed doesn't just snowball the game through the Aurelia matchup in the mid lane and Simulacrum's gangplank pressure early on, as if you're maybe able to abuse this Blitzcrank, abuse Montgomery's playmaking potential in the support role, and start moving around the solo lanes, get those classic Monte Cristo rotations going all across the board. Jinx is going to be able to potentially melt towers, not as good as a Tristana, but still might be able to do the work, and so I think that's the kind of focus that Divine Ascension Ruby need to take immediately onto the Rift. Omega Gaming Unleashed, though, I feel like they've got a pretty solid bot lane to try to counteract that, to go toe-to-toe. You got a lot of healing with the Jinx. Nautilus's shield and just natural damage with his passive makes him an absolute terror in the early stages of the lane. Montgomery's and really JDK are going to be having to make big plays for Divine Ascension in this one. Omega Gaming Unleashed, this will be a big test for them overall. This is still a big win, a big game for them, even though Divine Ascension Ruby, I think right now are kind of in the middle of the pack, and a lot of us on the analyst desk are kind of leaning towards Omega Gaming Unleashed. We were all really shocked about their 1-3 start, and if they keep going down this path, I think they might quickly find themselves in a tough position come playoff time. So I would really like to see them bounce back well against what should be an easy series for them, I think.
Looking at these bot lane matchups, just trying to keep conversation going here.
Yeah.
The Senna Nautilus definitely has a lot more sustain than a Jinx Blitzcrank. I'm pretty sure Jinx is forced to go either Gale Force or Shield Bow this game. Probably mostly Gale Force, just to try to dodge that Nautilus hook or the Aurelia ult or anything. Shield Bow also wouldn't be bad, trying to survive Senna Burst, Echo Burst, Gangplank ult in and of itself. Seriously, you could like ult their turret with like 2 items, and then the Jinx would just like explode.
Yeah, this is kind of a classic Silly Goose game, I feel like, Cowboy. He played a little bit of Jinx, even last mid-league season, when I feel like the pick was even more off-meta. The guy loves his hyper-carry ADCs. I would have maybe preferred to see an Aphelios, because I feel like you just get a lot more damage and just a better champion, honestly. 200 years of gameplay experience have really pushed him up and ahead of some of the older ADCs. Jinx, though, it's a comfort pick for Silly Goose. He's got to be used to know how to carry these games on a pick like Jinx.
How do we feel about support roams? Because I feel like Nautilus has a much better roam than Blitzcrank, but Blitzcrank can probably make a lot more happen on those roams if he can hit his hook.
Yeah, what will be big and what the casters and what we'll have to keep a close eye on while we're watching from the analyst desk, Cowboy, is how these teams do in terms of getting these supports out on the map, whether or not we're going to see Montgomery's and the sub immediately head down the bot lane out of the base, or if we are in fact going to be able to see these supports be proactive on the map, and as soon as they go back onto the Rift, maybe after their second recall, once especially they've got mobility boots potentially online. So what I'm going to be looking for, at least from Montgomery's Blitzcrank, is if they're going to be able to catch the other team off guard, especially when it comes to numbers advantage in that mid lane.
I'm trying to think of other things to talk about here, but so as you can see on the screen, we are already into draft champion select, so everybody's just picking their champions. We did it on a website called Draft Lol. So everybody can pick their own champions without worry of like switching or not owning champions or anything, just for people who do not understand, although I'm sure most people do. So we didn't really talk about this much, but how do we feel about the Aurelia versus Zilean matchup?
Twitch chat, Neoblade want to shout you out for what you were talking about. I think it was dead on. Princeton, I think, has an opportunity to really push Jay's buttons. First, I think the Aurelia is going to do a fine job being able to CS under tower early. That's what Zilean's able to excel at. And with her Blade Surge, it's really not even a big worry. And additionally, on top of that, thinking about the resets, thinking about the playmaking potential that Princeton's gonna have, Jay has to be very careful in lane when it comes to using his mana, making sure that pool is constantly filled. I expect to see him pick up actually a pretty early tier of the Goddess, because what I worry about is a situation where Jay is left just alone in the lane with Princeton with no mana, has no room to ultimate or try to run away because he gets stunned up and the chain dashes start coming through, and that health bar can seriously deplete quickly. So I think Jay's got to be careful. Again, this is his debut in the mid lane for the mid league. He's been in the jungle for so long. His team finally given him the chance to prove himself in what he has said as his true role, his real role, finally given him a chance to show off. And on the Zilean pick, no less, Cowboy, he has a real big opportunity to make some fantastic plays. We've seen just even watching Bjergsen in those critical TSM Game 5s throughout the LCS summer playoffs. Those chrono shifts are really impactful and just can turn around a game unexpectedly. They're able to pair it up with Silly Goose's Jinx, and that's what I'm most excited for, Cowboy. You're going to be able to speed that Jinx up even after she gets excited, so she's just zooming all over the place. And I think with the recent Runan's changes, this carry composition with multiple threats in the Jinx, in the Jax, can be really devastating for Divine Ascension. Omega Gaming Unleashed, I think they got to look to come out swinging early and make sure this Gangplank and Irelia win the lanes that they're supposed to win and just take over the game from there.
You've got me thinking, what support item does Blitzcrank build? Because Shirelia's this game is going to be disgusting, especially with the new changes on the item.
Yep. I think that's what we're gonna see from Montgomery's. He's really into these wacky picks for the support role, but I think that's what's starting to really work right now, especially in this kind of environment in the mid league, when you're able to communicate with the team to capitalize on these big picks. I'm going to be looking for Divine Ascension Ruby to put Montgomery's in a position, especially with an emphasis on vision control. The Blitzcrank's pretty easy to play around if you see him coming from a mile away. Divine Ascension Ruby are going to have to keep Omega Gaming in the dark.
Well, I'd love to keep talking about this, but we are going to have to jump to a short intermission. We are going to be seeing you after the game happens. So, after this intermission, you are going to be seeing Gungeon and Zephyr as your casters. And we wish Omega Gaming Unleashed and Divine Ascension Ruby a good game. See you guys after.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Excellency Mid-League. This week, on week 2, we are going to be taking you live originally here with Omega Gaming Unleashed versus Divine Ascension Ruby, and Zephyr, am going to be your play-by-play caster. Not the usual train of position for myself, but I'm happy to be here. I'm joined by the lovely Gunjan, my apologies, for the first time as my color. Gunjan, how you doing, mate?
I am doing fantastic, and it looks like we're already having a little bit of an early skirmish. DAR are looking for mischief. Ooh, Blitzcrank almost in range, but looks like nothing's gonna happen.
I mean, that's what you got to expect. You got the Blitzcrank pick right off the bat. You might as well try to make use of it.
Yep, Mr. Montgomery's. Ooh, they're gonna try to. I wonder if they actually try to give the XP. Yeah, they will. This actually is decently big because this gives Jax level 2. 1 minion ahead of Simulacrum, and it might not mean much, but we'll see.
Well, if there's any point that Jax might find success in this top lane, it will definitely be in the early game. Now, he might not have the damage to capitalize and take out GP, but it definitely will give him the edge, and who knows? That 1 minion is the difference between life and death sometimes.
Yep. Just regular start from both sides. It's going to be a good leash. And again, this is something that was mentioned in the analyst desk, but we do want to mention it. These comps are definitely focused around one area of the map, especially for the side of DAR, with this bot lane of Silly Goose and Mr. Montgomery's. With that, Jinx going to be mainly the biggest damage dealer for DAR. I think it's going to be really important to see if we can see Fallen Artemis shut that bot lane down. Ooh, missed hook.
Yeah, absolutely. Curious to see how the junglers make an impact, because personally, I don't think there's a lot of kill pressure to be had in that bot lane originally. But we'll just have to wait and see. They are taking a chunk of poke here from adjustment in the sub, doing a great job positioning that out, but it is not without return. So going to be back and forth, but the level 2 coming through here. The hook is missed. The root comes back. Knock up the sub. He's going to be ignited. Steps forward there, looking to take this one back, but he doesn't hit that dredge line. Bit of a shame there. Could have seen that fall through. Is Montgomery going to look for the sub here? Probably not.
A lot of action. We did not expect this when we went into Champ Select with this amount of action by the Nautilus, but they are getting it in. And again, both teams realize that if you can shut down this Jinx Blitzcrank, if you can shut down this Jinx, then a lot of that entire damage profile for the side of DR really falls away. So it's going to be interesting to see what both junglers focus, but right now we're just seeing both junglers pretty much do a full clear heading towards their top side.
Right. And maybe we'll see them go for that gank early on Jax and GP, give them some pressure, but it looks like Jax doing a great job holding that wave out, making sure that GP does not get to access as much as he can, or my apologies here, reverse that one. GP being able to push that wave out efficiently with the barrels there, making sure he gets the early advantage. Jax finally able to catch up.
Yep. And again, both junglers just kind of doing for a full clear, not much going to happen. There might be a fight for this topside scuttle, but most likely Yoko Karuma probably will just give that up for the Echo, especially with the early game pressure.
No, he's not. He goes for the ping there, and he's going to be making his way down, but Echo is already within the region. I'm curious if we might see full rotation here. You've got Gangplank a little bit late to the show. Oh, JDK is coming up there. We do see him launch forward into the back, but he's able to speed away. Fallen Artemis no longer in a good spot for this scuttle.
And that top lane reset from GP to just get a cheater recall was enough to get that topside scuttle for Fiddlesticks. So advantage Fiddle, but again, both
not for long.
Yeah, both junglers are pretty much just farming this out, so there's not much action happening. It is interesting that now this will put Echo in the bot side jungle. I wonder if he tries to go for a little bit of an invade, or if they try to see if they can force something in this very aggressive bot lane, which I didn't expect to see.
Looks like, much to your point, going for that invade, going to be trying to stunt the growth of Yoko here, even though he did manage to get the skull on the bot side to even this one out. Sadly, Yoko did back there, wasn't able to find an appropriate gank onto Princeton, so the map right now, quite calm. Wow, that is not a word, but quite calm in the seas here.
And I do want to say, there's a very sizable CS lead that's about to build for this GP from Simulacrum, and Simulacrum has been known to be a GP main for about 3 seasons now, and he is cashing it in because he already got the cheater recall, got the cull, and is pretty much catching this entire massive wave topside. Pretty big advantage for the GP, for the early Jax favored matchup.
Yes, sirree. Whew. Taking you through general items starting to come back here first across the board. Sheen, respectfully, the bot lane, or my apologies, the jungle making way towards that Hextech alternator. Calls coming out across the board. Something noticeably, Gungeon, that you might want to touch on, especially since it's in the bot lane. The Spectral Sickle going on to that fasting Senna.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it was going to be a fasting Senna.
Great dredge line response there. The root's going to come through. Silly Goose is pushing it back, but that Blitzcrank's going to take that damage.
I'm very surprised that we're seeing fasting Senna. It has been nerfed a decent amount now through the changes, reducing the amount of soul generation she gets when she's not CSing, but we'll see how this works out. The big thing to know is that that will also provide another big front line for the side of Omega Gaming Unleashed, with this Nautilus being able to soak up the amount of pretty much solo lane gold he's going to get. Silly Goose is going to have a world of hurt when he sees the Fallen Artemis Echo, Aurelia, the GP ulti, plus a full tank Nautilus running at him. This is going to be a spicy one.
Yeah, Dar, if they want to find any chance of making it through this first game here, have to protect their eggs that is within the one basket that they do have. At this point, it's going to be very rough because you're not finding any additional lead as we approach that 10-minute mark. Of course, ultimates aren't up yet. I'd like to see some general contention at some point to see maybe a stronger lead form, because at the end of the day, Aurelia, Gangplank, Echo, they're all going to scale up. Senna's going to be just as strong as she gets towards that late game. At a certain point, you're outclassed.
Ooh.
He fine. He fine. A little skirmish, but he fine, Gungeon.
Nothing much happening. Again,
Exactly.
Zillion Resident Sleeper, but something that's not Resident Sleeper is how well Simulacrum is playing GP topside. We're talking about weak side, but he might win this if he steps up a little bit too far.
Yeah. Did not hit a single barrel on him, but he still came out on top of the trade. That's impressive.
Oranges are making everything K.
Ooh, he doesn't have them up though because he just used it, and Gerald knows this. The flash coming out there, he's going to heal up but be forced to back, and that's what you have to deal with when we talk about that early game pressure from Jax. A bit shame they did see that orange and he just stepped back into it knowing that that was not up yet.
And this is a little bit of an oversight because I don't think that Fallen Artemis should have given up that dragon. I didn't see exactly what his pathing was into level 6, but I'm very surprised that Silly Goose and Mr. McGumfreys were able to pretty much get a free dragon for them, and Infernal as well. Again, any damage that you can get and put onto this Jinx is going to be really big, especially when this Nautilus becomes a super tank, and a hook!
Oh, yeah, big hook there on the sub. I don't know if that's the target you really want to hook, but the pressure is undeniable. Meanwhile, Fallen Artemis on the side there, easily able to come in here at any point if they continue to push this out, but two great backs coming in just in the nick of time.
It looks, again, not much fighting, which I honestly think is going to be Omega Gaming Unleashed's favor, even though they do have a hyper scaling AD in the Jinx, and again, this Zillion Jinx combo is going to be very destructive as the game goes on, but giving gold to the GP, giving gold to Aurelia, giving gold to Echo, when they hit these two item spikes, it's going to be really hard for this Jinx to ever find a way in these team fights.
Wow. Fallen Artemis falling pretty short there of making that gank work out. Unable to really land it onto JDK there, but it shows where his attention's at. Trying to find something that's been laying a little bit, even though it came up short.
And I do have to mention the amount of vision that DAR actually are able to get in the river and actually into Omega Gaming Unleashed's jungle is very well put. They're able to spot out Fallen Artemis pretty much whatever quadrant he's going, and they're tracking him really well. I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the reasons that they were able to get that really early dragon with a losing bot lane.
Yeah, true. Even though they were pushed in, they still managed to take that with the priority there. And maybe all eyes were on top lane at that moment. It did look very spicy. Oh, but something spicy happened in the bot lane. Dredge lane forcing the flash out of Mr. McGumfreys there. The root with the chompers coming through, but the hook doesn't connect. Teleport from JDK does come through there from the backline's adjustment. Isn't stunned out, but there's a great dredge as McGumfrey is pushed up. JDK is a little bit too far forward, and the Dawning Shadow dishes it out. And it's going to be that cannon barrage to finish it through. An incredible turnaround there from Omega Gaming Unleashed.
They get the flash, they get the TP, and nothing is gained. And again, such great play by adjustment in the sub. And this is something that people aren't going to... It's intrinsically... Oh my god, I can't say that word.
Doing your best, Gudgeon.
Yeah, I'm trying my best here, guys. But again, you think of a support, you think, okay, he's not going to be too tanky. He's not going to. The second his aftershock's gone, we should be able to burst him out. But again, this is a feasting Nautilus. Don't talk about fasting Senna. We talk about feast boys down here. And this Nautilus again has the Merc Treads already. Was able to pretty much deny a lot of that CC lockdown that he was afflicted with, and he was able to turn it around. And again, Simulacrum, even in that 1v1 we saw topside, he never used ulti because he understands what his role is. He is a weak side top laner. If he gets ahead, that's great, but he is going to be using his ultis to affect the bottom lane, and that's exactly what he does. And they come up huge because now look at Princeton. He has a 30 CS lead over Zillion, and when he hits that first item, this is going to be spelled bad news for DAR.
One noticeable thing that you might want to look into that bot lane fight, especially, was the fact that JDK, when coming through with the combination there, was unable to land a specific stun on either adjustment or the sub, which would have definitely meant the grave for them. So by coming through and not able to pull that off with the teleport, he wasted a lot of time and actually was punished pretty poorly with that kill as well. So not looking great for the Zill, but at the end of the day, as long as he's got Chrono Shift, it can work out.
It looks like a little bit of a freeze kind of being started by both the top laner for DR and the bottom lane for Omega Gaming. I want to see Fallen Artemis really affect this map because, again, we have not seen either jungler really interact with the map at all. And especially with the efficiency and the amount of usefulness that dragon stacking really has. Ooh, now that I mentioned it, Caster Curse.
Yeah, well, he manages to make it out of that one as well.
Falling a little short once again.
That pun's going to get real old real quick. But either way, I still like it as of right now. Ooh, Gumphrey going in, but the Crow Storm in the backline. Yoko Corona going to get that fear off as the pull comes through with the static field to finish it off. Yoko pulling that one at the silence. The sub is now looking to run away, but he's going to be sucked as he makes his way to the turret. The slow coming through the dredge line, but a great knock up to prevent him. The super mega death rocket for the execution. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, JDK is trying to escape from the gank, but that bomb is ticking down. Ooh, under the tower with the E. Fallen Artemis cleans it up. It's going to be that 2-for-1.
But that's so big, a big chunk out into both the mid laner and the jungler for Omega Gaming, and this dragon should be DAR's. And again, I think that this is Omega Gaming favorite in terms of the comp. But if you get a Dragon Soul on top of the Jinx, then anything is possible, and they are stacking it up really quickly. Great ultimate by Yoko Kuruma to get the engage off. But fantastic hook by Mr. Montgomery's, again nailing the Senna and was able to really turn that fight around, because again, if Adjustment had been able to buy a little bit of space, we would have seen the Senna ulti, and at that point, I think the Nautilus would have been able to pretty much just walk out of that.
Right, the Senna might have been down, but the Nautilus definitely could have made his way out of the field there. Either way, 2 great kills in the place you want them. Yoko Corona can go off and make some plays across the map, maybe help out the mid lane as JDK is definitely struggling. And now we got the 1 kill on Silly Goose. Let's see if they can extend that out, even though they already are looking quite strong. There's still the threat of all this established scaling in front of them.
I am surprised that in terms...
Ooh, that's an amazing hook. And that's going to be forcing that flash out, too. That was so good.
Yeah, maybe I'm disrespectful of Mr. Montgomery's Blitzcrank, because he is landing back to back to back. What I wanted to mention was that in terms of the Mythics, I'm surprised that this adjustment is actually opting. It looks like either going to be Gale Force, again, Kraken Slayer meme, but most likely Gale Force for the Senna.
Right.
Especially with the fasting Senna, I would assume that they would try to go for a Moonstone build.
JK.
Engage.
Fallen Artemis. Not quite able to land that one either. Great positioning on JDK, respectfully, for getting out of it, though.
Yeah, and...
Oh, no.
They
don't know, chat. I mean, they may know a little bit, chat, but it's not going to be enough because Mr. Montgomery's coming in. Knock up on the center. Static field. Crow Storm. Adjustment's trying to run away, but he's silent. The Dawning Shadow for the shield, but it doesn't matter. Super Mega Death Rocket does enough. Now Gerald Yoda in the top lane. Burned out there. Simulacrum able to pick up a kill in response, but it doesn't matter. 2-0 Jinx. Your egg is getting thicker.
The egg is hatching, but again, Simulacrum says weak side top laner, my butt. He is just blasting. Again, he's catching in his coal. He is a sizable gold lead over the Jax with a 1600 gold lead, and we're not gonna this is
I mean, I like it. I almost thought so. But
Cillian just ages anybody that even tries to fight him. But again, really, if you want to see the gold lead,
again,
I'm gonna say it again, but this gold lead from Simulacrum is massive. 1,700 gold lead in the top lane. Already has Triforce. He should have Triforce completed on this back.
Right.
This is pretty big. Jinx is a big hyper carry, and the egg is about to hatch. But if you
already has Gale Force, man, that's huge. That's the extra damage off the 3 dash there. You can just shred through Senna if the sub is not in a good position here.
How do you feel about the Divine Sunderer? Because I'm not a big fan of Divine Sunderer. I think it's good maybe into some tank comps. I just feel like it's weak, especially when you have a lead on GP like this. I feel like it's an item you're opting in that might not be too efficient.
I personally think it's fine in terms of the scaling. It works with Simulacrum. I mean, like I said, play-by-play, me dummy thick. I'm a little rusty getting back into it. Personally, I don't really see a problem with it. The stacked aggressive health percentage damage can help rip through Gerald as he starts getting a bit more tanky and has the healing advantage on his side through the Conqueror. And that might be what he needs. Noticeably, Yoko has not been there to really support this Jax out, and we continue to see him fall further and further behind, especially with that massive CS advantage from Simulacrum.
And that was the one thing that confused me about the strat. Besides the Jinx Blitz was why pick a top laner that does need a little bit of assistance in the Jax when you could have picked something like an Ornn, some just dumb tank top, help Atch the Heg a little bit more. We are gonna have to see Gerald come back into this game because right now he has fallen super far behind. But looks like Fallen is going to try to go for another gank bot.
It's too late, though. They know he's there at this point, and I don't think they're going to be able to get the dive, but it does make a good setup for Dragon, finally, for Omega Gaming Unleashed. But Yoko's in the area, so I don't think it's going to be going without a fight.
We'll have to see. Both top laners have TP, but obviously Simulacrum is going to be much more useful.
Vanguard's Edge, Princeton, can he finally do it? A big flash from JDK to get back to turret. Dawning Shadow just barely misses him there. He's going to be able to get out just fine without using Chrono Shift. Notably, he has teleport. That could be a make or break moment for a team fight. I'm just letting you know.
Top side, but looks like action is coming down here, but it looks like everyone is getting ready for this third Dragon, the Cloud Dragon.
Soul Point, baby, Cloud Drake.
Almost solo point for the side of DAR.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see both teams looking very intently for it, but most of the vision is conquered by Omega Gaming here.
Yeah, Omega doing a great job keeping control of the river. They're going back now. Fallen Artemis clearing it out, and he has the safety to do that, given Chrono Break is always on his side. Notably, you've got all 4 members of the bot side of the map getting ready to take that one through and through. I'm not sure if the rotation's going to come through quick enough from Divine Ascension. JDK Yoko Kuruma. There's the teleport from Gerald Yode, but a great CC from the sub. But Jumpree's in the backline, gets the knock up there onto Adjustment, pulls him out. He's down. Sub's now running away as the teleport coming through here. Yoko Kuruma, he's going to get bursted out, but he flashes to make the success as the Chrono Shift is on top of him. There's a big leap from Gerald Yode, but can he finish Simulacrum? Not quite. They turn their attention to the sub. They get the pullback on him as he slowed out with the zap, and finally Jax finds Simulacrum under the tower there. That's going to be 3 kills in the belt for the trade on that Dragon. Now they can push these waves out.
And they get the Dragon, but was it worth it? Super late TP from the GP. I'm super surprised that they actually weren't able to coordinate that a little bit better because they had so much control over the Dragon side with all of the vision there. But super late TP, Gerald was able to come in, make a difference, and now it looks like this game is getting blown wide open because this Jinx she's hatched. The Dragon is out of the egg. She is hatching.
You were going with a dragon?
Yeah, that's
I was like thinking a bird.
Nah, I'm going for a dragon. That's what Silly Goose. Oh yeah, he's Silly Goose.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
He's a bird. Oh no.
That's a disrespect to Silly Goose, all right?
And again, not even able to get much. They're not able to get anything off the Herald, and everything in the early game is not going their way. And a lot of it is due to the amount of pressure that JDK was able to soak from the Aurelia Echo combo, not able to get anything.
Very true.
Is now able to super support the Jinx up top bot side.
Right. Joe Yoda up on the top. He's taken still a huge chunk of damage, even with the 2 kills on his belt, garnering that Trinity Force. Curious if he's going to be able to take those 1v1s against Gangplank anytime soon. Personally, I don't think so. He did a great job, though, in that fight, getting into that backline, making sure that they were able to get some of these more necessary kills. That's an amazing pull there from McGumphrey, and Princeton's not looking good. Gets the double stump, is able to dash out, dodges the super mega death mark with the flash from Silly Goose there, and the auto's going to shut him down. Great follow-up from the Goose himself.
Bang, bang, bang. Silly Goose takes down Princeton, and again, Mr. McGumphreys is coming in clutch. They're going for it.
20 minutes, 21 seconds. I mean, they definitely have the power. Baron is weak as weak can get into Season 11 here, but I'm curious if they're going to be interrupted. You've got Fallen Artemis and Adjustment making their way up. They know they're going for this.
JDK is not here, which is the only thing I'm
barrage.
very surprised about. If they wanted to go for it, I feel like they should have called up the Zillion a little bit earlier. Another thing I wanted to mention is I'm very surprised by the hook.
Well, that should have hit in my book, all right?
Close.
That's a little sus.
You gotta just give him that one. But can we talk about Kraken Slayer Senna?
Kraken Slayer Senna. I'm curious if that works out given the fact that you're not really getting the triple auto off very often. It can come through and it can damage like a freight train if you manage, but the burst in comparison from Dar, that's a bit rough to get it off, in my opinion.
I'm just super surprised that they're opting for this build because, again, you do get an increased burst from the Senna build, but I feel like Senna right now, especially with how squishy the rest of the lineup on the side of Dar is, if she had just gone lethality, would have been able to do a lot more damage.
If it's an extended team fight, I could maybe see it working out. She gets the triple auto off consistently, is able to pressure out the squishies to the point that they get blasted. But if we see what we saw down in the Dragon Pit just get rolled over, oh my gosh, that's an incredible gank on the top side. I don't even have much to say about it given he's already dead. Either way, finally, Yoko making the appearance to help him out.
Yoko is just doing work, was able to get his bot lane ahead, now is able to head over to top side to get the Jax ahead, and it looks like it's all falling apart. And again, you mentioned it, in an extended team fight, Kraken Slayer probably does a little bit more damage, but I feel like what Omega Gaming want to do is get that burst out. They have Princeton, they have Fallen Artemis, they have some of Rakram's ult, so opting in for the longevity team fight feels like you're just playing into the hands of DAR. And this is just going from bad to worse because, again, the Moonstone build is about to be finished off by the Zillion. Jax is getting absolutely massive, and if Jinx hits 3 items, I don't see how they're going to be able to contest any of these dragons or that Baron that they attempted really early on.
Notably, though, it still is a Jinx, and it still is your singular egg. Yoko and Gerald are very strong at this point, but that's your main take of who you want to get out. What an interesting interaction there between the Dredge line, pulling him away from the hook. I guess that's why you pick hook champions. Either way, like I was saying, there's still some opportunities for some great flanks and great dives here to capitalize on some of that burst damage like you just brought up, but it does get very, very rough when you start having Jinx able to solo anyone out at any given point.
Zillion with Cloud Dragons? Oh my god, it's gonna get really... We're gonna see double ultis in these team fights.
Pretty safe, and there's no contention. They're going to opt to go for the mid lane instead, start opening this up, this map, maybe give some access here to Omega Gaming Unleash to roam around this jungle, get the pressure on their side, especially with Baron still up on the map. Yeah, they're going to take advantage and ward as much as possible right now.
I think that's smart from Omega. Ooh, are they looking for it?
At this point, I don't think they want to take the 5-on-5 just yet, especially after that dragon. Looking for the reset, probably.
Omega Gaming's Alamo is going to be at that Cloud Soul, and they're going to fight at that point, but you just want to get as many items as you can on all of these divers and hope that you just have enough damage to burst through Jinx twice, because you know that Zillion ulti is keyed right on top of that Jinx for pretty much for every single team fight, and again, more and more gold's getting funneled in, and she's going to have that Infinity Edge as her 3rd item right before that dragon comes up, and this is going to be really big.
Yeah, triple item in comparison to the Senna, which has not been able to really assess or get that strong in comparison. Let me see if I can find this correctly. Ooh, Fallen Artemis looking for the gank on the top side of Gerald Yode there. He's able to get the counter-strike up, leap to the ward, hit the blast cone, make his way out. Just to update you, though, on that Senna there, in terms of soul structure, she's only got about 70 right now at 24 minutes. I actually think that's a little bit high, but it's definitely not enough to contest with the absolute lead that Silly Goose has garnered himself.
And we'll have to keep paying attention to Senna build because I think she's going for Rage Blade second item. I'm gonna have to do the math on this. Math men in the comments, you guys are gonna have to do the math on this build.
Gungeon, I'm gonna have to wait a second. No, you're gonna have to do the math for me. Ooh, big miss on the dredge line and no cannon barrage. Bit of a shame there. That's really huge ultimate out of the package now.
Surprised they used the GP ult as well, and they're again. This looks desperate because they want to get any sort of pick onto to break up this this blitz, this Jinx mock comp that they were pretty much running. Again, we talk about this egg analogy, but there's an egg and there's like a wall around the egg. If you've all played Rust, this is a honeycomb hive around this Jinx egg. You're gonna have to break through a lot of walls to get through this egg, and the walls are just getting thicker and thicker.
Very true. Every assessed gold, but we talk a lot about gold in that lead, but most notably, it's kind of crazy. 40.3 to 40.9. I know y'all all can read just as well as I can, but that is not much of a difference. Most of that gold, even though it has ended up in response on some of your primary carries for here on DAR, there's still a response equally across the board from what is Omega Gaming Unleashed.
Yeah, the gold lead is very... I mean,
it's equal. It's literally equal now.
Completely equal. And mainly that is coming from the lead that Simulacrum has over the Jax. But in terms of effective gold, I have to give it over to the side of DAG.
Oh, yeah.
Again, Moonstaff build is super efficient. We have not seen Fallen Artemis get any damage off. You can have 30,000 gold of items, but if you can't ever get into the backline and deal damage, then it really doesn't matter. And they've just never been in position to really get those big flanks that we were expecting.
Yep. So now it's just a little bit of a waiting game, a little bit of a lull period. Gungeon, you know, how's your day been? How's the weather? You made an Alamo joke later. I love those. I'm a Texan. We can get behind that all day long. It's just general vision contention. They're going to keep playing back and forth until a great pick comes through or one major mistake happens.
And they're all just waiting for items, but the big item spike is about to hit. Jinx is about to get Infinity Edge. The egg is hatching, everybody. The Condor has left the nest. No, the
a little too early, bud. Give it maybe 2 more minutes.
This is why the math men need to do the math for me, because my math definitely did not up there, but she's super close to that Infinity Edge. Moonstaff is already completed for the Zillion. Jax is about to hit his Blade of the Ruin King spike as well, and if it could get from bad to worse, this is they say down bad. This is down atrocious right now, and it could hit down apocalypse soon enough.
Oh my gosh. Either way, that dragon is going to be on that rift there. That's going to be the contestation for Soul now, for Dard. They're already there, making sure Vision is all set up, ready to go. Of course, it's going to be cleared out, so I'm not sure how it's going to end up in the end. Noticeably, though, you have Simulacrum already in the mid lane, whereas you're getting Gerald on that top side. Even though he has teleport and so does Simulacrum, they want all 5 members to be there immediately. Ooh. Not able to find Yoko, though. Oof.
I think if you're Omega Gaming, you just try to burst it here. And just hope you can, because, again, Gerald is getting
I think they're in a better position than Dar, though. Absolutely. Big root, stunned out, teleport coming through, but JDK going to be forced to crochet. Crowstorm deep in the back line, going to be ripping through. Not able to pick up a kill off that Gerald. Yo, finally here with the Chrono Shift. He's able to find the kill there on to Senna as we try to get the dash away. Artemis taken out there. Silly Goose is doing a great job, but he steps too far forward. Princeton's going to chase him out, flashes forward, but it's the double kill in response. The bomb is down on him. Simulacrum in the sub, pacing this one back and forth, but the dredge line comes through, and he's going to be taken out as Simulacrum bursts him out, flashes forward onto McGumphrey. He's trying to run away. The robot gets the burst, but the burn hits a little bit too hard. JDK here, I don't think he wants to go any further. He's backing off. It's going to be the 4 for 3 in favor of Unleashed.
The Ballista got apart from itself. They tried to go for a flank with Gerald and the Jax, but it was a great hook by the sub hitting onto the hitting onto the Zillion, forcing the Zillion ulti not on the Fiddlesticks, and everyone gets bursted out. And again, Simulacrum must have heard that I called him a weak side top laner, because this guy is not weak at all. He was able to get the damage off, and that is a very key fight to win. If Omega Gaming want to win against this Ballista that is the Jinx, you have to separate out the pieces. And I'm really surprised that DAR honestly gave it to them, because at that point, if you clump up as a 5-man comp, I don't think you can really get picked off there. You have so much engage on yourself, and you have so much disengage with the Zillion double bomb and the Zillion ulti. I'm very surprised they tried to go for the split play.
Right. One notable thing, though, we did bring up before we even got into game. Oh, I've already forgotten what that one notable thing was. I was so distracted by the completed Infinity and Rage Blade. I've lost it, Gungeon. Take it away. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll come back to you.
Again, Rage Blade, Kraken Slayer, Senna. Someone's doing the math, and it's not me. I only got to pre-calculus, guys. Someone that's in calculus figure out if this build is good, because
is that how we do it now?
Yeah,
we reach out.
Eyes, we need all the mathematicians. Whoever figured out if Dream was
We're
shitty
outsourcing now.
Yeah. We need the
Hi, welcome to Excellency Esports. What have you applied for? Well, I've applied to do a little bit of math. Call Dia.
Oh. Okay, I always get baited by Fiddlesticks. Oh,
he was too, but the Chrono breaks out. It's a great hook, and it's gonna capitalize now.
Be a weird lane assignment, but it is mainly just due to the TP disadvantage that Simulacrum has over Gerald. With they're just having Jace pretty much just meet. This is kind of the time you'd want to see if you could get some sort of pick, because the Zillion is separated out from the rest of his Ballista.
This is true. He is in the bot lane. That is far.
He's sitting bot.
Noticeably, he does have teleport, though.
The Condor has left the building.
Oh, you finally get to make the Condor joke. Oh, congratulations. He's also got a Zeal and Executioner's Calling, if you want to bring that up, too.
Yeah, getting the healing reduction for the Condor. The Condor is getting big, but... Ooh, looking for a pick.
Hey, if Dark continues to win this season, I want them to rename to Silly Condor. That would be immaculate. Or Silly Eagle, or Silly, what's other great bird names while we wait?
Silly Turkey just sounds too silly.
Ooh, maybe we won't have to wait that long. Gerald, like you said, overstep the Crone. My apologies. They do get the Vanguard's edge there as Gerald. He's just bursted out. There's nothing to say about that one. He got caught out with his pants down. He's just waddling away to death.
And this is what happens in the Voltron. If the legs start leaving, you guys are a Voltron together. The honeycomb hive doesn't work without Jax not getting caught out. I'm incredibly surprised of what they're doing here, because, again, Jax overstepping when Jinx is not even putting pressure on the map allows Omega just to respond, kill him off, and now, again, just buying more time for GP to get big. GP looks like he's going to build towards, I guess, GA 4th item instead of the Infinity, but doesn't feel like he needs the crit, just going for full raw AD, and they're doing it.
Yep, they are. Noticeably, Jax is up, and he does have teleport available. That wave is something he's going to have to respond to on the bot side, but it's not really a big deal. So as a result, we do see Unleashed back off, and I think they're going to keep trying to capitalize on the mistakes of Dar here. They're not a very proactive team from what I'm getting, but they do know how to play the macro when they are in the advantage. So they're looking for Dar to keep flubbing up, and maybe we'll see some further assessment, but as of right now, Dragon is back on the board.
4 completed items for the Jinx. She is
thick,
huge right now, absolutely thick. But they need
Big
to
Condor.
get vision control. They need to get vision control around this Dragon fight, because they don't want to get split up like they did last time, which they pretty much opted in for.
Right.
I want to see how they play this out, because again, both teams are decently squishy, and there's a lot of pick tools. Looks like Blitzcrank's gonna go for it. Ooh, this is some good Gouda here.
Oh, some good Gouda. I appreciate the cheese references, even though I dislike cheese. Take that as you will, chat. Either way, all 5 members deep in the back line of the Dar, they're going to be running straight in here, but the hook, the Crowstorm doing a great job. Launch forward there to get the stun deep in the back line, but Silly Goose is in a great position to line up, but not before Jerry Little does go down the Vanguard's edge deep in the back line under JDK and Gumfrey there, but not before the poke keeps coming through. A big bomb to take out Prince and his Simulacrum gets pulled forward there. He's going to get bombed out, uses the stopwatch to survive for a little bit longer. He's going to be resurrecting out off of that one now with that GA. JDK is taken low, but he's knocked up in response. Silly Goose gets that kill. It's going to be that 2 for 1. And I don't think they chase it out, but they find the oppressment onto that soul there now.
What a close team fight. And honestly, they might still look... I mean, you gotta try and see if you can...
No, it's too late. That's soul.
That team fight was massive. I thought Vyoko was going to absolutely wipe the side of Omega Gaming, but they were able to disengage far enough. And again, the re-engage came through. Jack Stove a little bit too deep, got bursted out. But again, if Silly Condor is not hurt, Condor is left the nest, and he absolutely just did massive damage to that fight. Wasn't able to finish off the entire team, but got enough to get the Cloud Soul. And now... Zillion with Cloud Soul. How fast can an old man run? That is the question we have here. I'm going for 700 movement speed.
I hope he dies so I can say not fast enough. But we'll have to wait and see. That's a 7-1 Jinx with that's 4. We're really struggling with math here tonight. 4 completed items. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I right on that?
Does boots count as a completed item?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've never counted boots. All right.
No.
It's useless. Useless. All right. That's what I tell you. Stop building boots. Either way here, that's the Crow Storm deep into the backline. Big Flea, Fallen Artemis take a low, immediately pulled back and use that Chrono Break, but that for adjustment gets a kill on the return there. The chase is going to continue as by the way, Gerald Yo just blasting Simulacrum, continuing to chase that one out. Either way, with all this aggression, now Yoko down. It's going to be that Baron, but a big pull over the walls. The sub's going to get pulled back there. Silly Goose ripping through as the Cannon Barrage comes through. Big blast of damage. The Vanguard is over the wall. Ooh, the Chrono Shift saving the life of Silly Goose's Fallen Arts and Adjustment are set up there. That root coming through onto McGuffrey, but not before he gets the pull to get the shutdown back onto Silly Goose. Now they're going to chase this one out as McGuffrey's feeling hot and feisty, but not when the teleport comes back on the response there. Coming through, there's the Jax. He's going to be stunned out immediately as Gerald Yo's here as well. Turns back in the damage, finds the kill on the Princeton, and now they're looking for blood to finish this one out here. Now Big Zap gets the slow. Simulacrum taken low. Shut down again for Gerald Yo, and that's going to be a simple team wipe. A Baron to come through now here for Dar.
Fights are absolutely crazy, and again, MVP to JDK. He makes all these little plays that make the team fight go in the favor of DAR. What a fantastic double bomb combo. Was able to stun out Adjustment and Princeton when they were trying to kill off Silly Goose after the Zillion ulti, and they get a wipe, they get the Baron, and this might just break the game open. Fiddlesticks ulti over just the damage.
Either way, like I said earlier, finally happening. It's going to be that Baron. Dar, so surprising this game. They draft an odd composition that plays off of some extreme picks that all have to find success, and they did just that, Gungeon. The situation is dire, and it has looked worse for a long time here for Omega Gaming Unleashed, and they've tried to come back as much as they will, but it's fallen short every single time. And now, all those facets, all those lanes that needed to make their way into this game are definitely at that point, and the scaling just isn't quite there to supersede it.
And at this point, it gets really rough to play against because Jinx is hitting you from 750 range with red buff, with Zillion speeding her up. And what can you do? There's no TPs up for the flank. Fallen Artemis hasn't been able to find the flank either. And the amount of vision control that DAR have and the enemy side jungle is really going to hamper any sort of fight. And again, the ballista, the Voltron is complete. The Condor is left the nest. All of our analogies are coming through.
Full circle, all right? I feel like it should be like a transformer. We should find a transformer out there that is a bird that also is made up of multiple other transformers. Maybe we get a better representation of this team.
I feel like Power Rangers, they should have like a beast. They have like a bird Power Ranger that's really going to symbolize the Condor leaving the nest.
We'll have to look at that later. Yep.
I wonder if they spot... I guess they never did spot him out, and...
Meanwhile, no one's responding to Gerald, by the way. Completely up on the top side alone, taking that turret.
I don't think they can. He's so strong at the moment. We saw what he...
Someone's got to.
I think you just go for the Alamo. I think that's what they're going for, because again, Fallen Artemis is not left at Wolf Camp, and he's going to go for it right here.
Yes, he is. Gumphrey stepping up there, unable to find a hook. That's going to be the depth charge onto Yoko there. Gets the knockup as Montgomery taking low. There's Fallen Armor, Steve in the back line. Silly Goose able to flash out of the Dawning Shadow. Chrono Shift is on him very early there as JDK is taken out. But the response with the autos is just too much. The hook pulling. Fallen Artemis back is finally Gerald Yode arrives. That Super Mega Deck Market not going to hit, but the back line is coming full circle. They're able to take out the 3 members here of Omega Gaming Unleashed and now run this one down. Notably, Adjustment and Simulacrum are still up. That's your 2 major carries. They still have a chance to defend this.
They have a chance, but with Baron buff minions and Jinx hitting this hard, this should be the game. I wonder, they're going to go for it.
They're going to try to finish with that. Jario launches forward there. He gets the stone onto Simulacrum, but he's taken too low. The turret is down, though, to keep aggressing. A barrel to slow down Yoko there. Bullet to finish him off. Now Silly Goose flashed upon. He's going to try to kite this one out. The static comes through, but it's not enough. That GA going to be making big use as Silly Goose tries to live through, but it's going to be the triple for Simulacrum. It's not over yet, Gungeon.
World, what? Again? The legs of the the Transformer is leaving constantly, oversteps that completely hard, and now they should have complete positioning on this Elder Dragon fight. And these team fights are so explosive. It was a good flank by Fallen Artemis, wasn't able to get the stun off, and Silly Goose was able to kite around. And again, it's all the little things that JDK and Mr. Montgomerys do. Getting the hook off in these team fights to get Silly Goose the reset so he can run in is really helpful. But now with Elder Dragon, again, Kevin Garnett said this, anything is possible, and anything might be possible.
I want to make specifically that only Kevin Garnett said that, by the way. Anything is possible, folks. Quote, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett.
Only him.
Only KG.
We're keeping track of that for the rest of the season, but oh my gosh, Omega Gaming Unleashed pulling out the easy Elder, no contestation. It's got to feel bad right now if you are Dar.
And the fear that I have is that, again, we mentioned that Senna had a lot of soul stacks at 20 minutes, but this is
Yoko Karuna taken out way too early there, bursted through. I didn't even catch that. My eyes blinked during that segment. Either way, that's now a 4v5 as they continue to push us out. Now, notably, they don't have Baron, so their wave does not make it very far in this situation.
Can force a team fight though. They just absolutely wait. And the big thing is that Senna is actually sitting at about 775 range. She actually does outrange the Jinx, and if she can get 1 to 2 autos, that burst comp that we were talking about with the Kraken Slayer, the auto Q auto, she can almost kill out Jinx outright.
Yeah. They're going to be keeping the aggression on this one. Yoko's up at 21. Big hook there from Mumphrey. We're going to see the Chrono Break. Big root there on the backline, though. On to the Jinx. Silly Goose trying to run away. Going to use what is that active item there to get the dash off now. The inhib is going to be looking very, very low. That is a big TP, though, from Jax. There, the static field response. There's Mr. Montgomery's taken out. The Chrono Shift, though, saves the day for just a little bit longer. Going to see the back come through here from Omega. I'm curious if they want to finish this one out now or respond to the Jax, but they're not going to be allowed to back as the fleet come through. The sub going to be taken low. He's finally out as Sub Goose. Now Fallen Artemis trying to find his way onto JDK. He's setting up there as the Vanguard's edge comes through from Princeton as JDK goes down. They turn their attention to the Jinx as she runs away, but it's going to be the Elder that finishes it for today. Now as they make their way towards the spy line, Yoko Kuruma is back up. He is pressuring this one out as Jax continues to make his stand over on the other side of the map. Now the pull comes through as the shutdown comes onto Gangplank. The backs are going to have to come through as the teleport is on its way here. But it's canceled. Wait, not yet. There's the Kronos. The Counter-Strike is able to get off as Gerald is too low. Adjustment. The Senna is just barely forcing the autos. The Counter-Strike deep in the backline. Oh, it's the Elder. The Elder barely saves it.
Oh, everything is so close. Everyone's just risking it. They're risking it for the biscuit every time. Why can't everyone play safe? Baron is up right now, but they can't even go in. Oh my god,
no. Yoko, go, Yoko, go, Yoko, go, Yoko. He's just too fast.
Baron is up, but nobody's alive to even try to get it. Silly Goose is up in 4 seconds, but...
Oh my gosh.
Open Nexus down to inhibs, and there is a ward that is on that Nexus, and JDK does have TP. If we see a JDK TP, I might lose my mind.
Absolutely. JDK does have that availability to TP into that mid, but the response is going to be too quick unless they are canceling out team fight after team fight like they did last time. Notably, Gerald is not up yet, and the sub has clear vision of this. The response time is going to be a lot quicker for the 5-man for Omega. I don't think this is the right play, but Montgomery's going to go on anyway, gets the pull there onto the sub. The stun comes through, cancels the Chrono Shift out, or my apologies, Crow Storm out. Now Silly Goose is taken out as Adjustment gets the kill there, followed Artemis flashes forward onto JDK. He puts the bomb on himself to try to dish out as much damage as possible. The stun does not land on this one, but he's just too fast. The old man can run. They don't care, though. They turn their attention towards their own base. They're going to make sure and try to find a way into that as soon as possible. Gumfrey running back as soon as possible. Princeton, okay, JDK gets the TP off Yoko, maybe not so much. They're going to try for the base race! JDK's here, but Cinder Crumb's also there for the response. It's not a Jax this time. I don't think JDK can take this fight, unlike last time.
For the Jax. They have
Gerald's here. He flashes forward. He's unable to get the stun. He's rooted in response. Cinder Crumb there is going to get blasted. Princeton finally arrives. Gerald yells, they do! Managed to take the Nexus off of the back door! Divine Ascension Ruby finally taking game one after an extended, incredible series.
A game, and that ward that never got cleared out was the deciding factor.
That was the factor.
Was able to TP in. Jax got the ultimate. He just ran it in, and oh my, how do you even break that game down? Oh, the Analyst Desk has a lot of work that they're gonna have to do.
Yes, they will. I will say, just before we toss it to them, fantastic play here from Divine Ascension. They chose what was a very difficult comp into this, and they managed to find a sustainable lead in the early game to pressure throughout this mid. And while it did falter towards the late game, and they did have some rough patches trying to team fight it out all the way up until the end, I'm glad they came through on the win. They deserved it from the mid game. I felt like there was just a few tossable mistakes that really led it in favor of Omega Gaming Unleashed, but either way, both of these teams absolutely shined. I can't wait for game two, but before we get into it, we're going to toss it back. Mac Dewey, Cowboy Cass, take it away.